In this video, I'm going to show you a classic bass house sound that you've definitely heard before, but might not know how it's actually made. First, set both oscillators to sine waves. And here comes the most important part. The two sine waves should be 3 octaves apart. The higher one serves as the modulation oscillator, with its volume turned all the way down. On oscillator A, select FM mode. Then, use an LFO to modulate both the FM amount and the volume of oscillator A. That's the core concept of this sound. Okay, now let's draw the LFO curve. When the curve is a returning E or falling back, we want it to go slow first, then fast. This makes the sound brighter while reducing some residual artifacts on the tail, because once we add multiband compression later, those small details will become much more noticeable. Next, we use a high-pass filter, with LFO1 controlling the cutoff. This is actually any older bass house trick that originally showed up more in synths like FM8 and Massive. The idea is to make the sound more open and bright, since the low-mid content can be quite strong and tends to mask the overall character. Getting that low end moving helps a lot. Then add a hyper O dimension effect to polish the stereo field. Add a multiband compressor and a tube distortion. And we continue using the LFO to modulate the distortion drive. Then add an EQ to create some dynamic movement in the high frequencies. If you look at just the sine-on-sine FM modulation at its core, this sound is actually quite dark and mellow. But when it appeared in a lot of EDM tracks back then, it often sounded more aggressive and bright. So everything we're doing in the affects section is aimed at achieving that. We can also throw on an OTT and boost the high frequencies with EQ to make it even clearer and brighter. And that's everything for this video. If you'd like to get the same preset in this tutorial, welcome to subscribe my Patreon to get it. Thanks for your support. See you next time.